Hi guys, it's me. I'm back. I'm back and better than ever. Episode 2. Man, it's been a bit. It's been a lot of work off camera actually since episode 1 to get the ball rolling in this series. So you can kind of see the workings of some stuff up there, and we'll get to that kind of stuff in a bit. First, let's just go over what I've done. Just it's not anything crazy, but it is stuff. Ignore this for now. This is me trying to get into Botania. Didn't work the way I wanted it to. We will get to that in a bit. First off, you can see I've got storage drawers started with labels and stuff. I've been mining a ton, found a ton of diamonds, a lot of resources. Had a bunch more before I started some of these projects. Bunch of stuff. Let me show you what all I've done over here. Again, this isn't like a ton of stuff I've been doing off camera. It's a ton of stuff. It's just nothing that I would have wanted y'all to watch because I didn't want to watch it myself. This is like the painful side of Minecraft. So I have done some farming, some, again, really basic things. We are. So I did put in a tree farm as well, pretty basic. And then I put a fence around the whole village. Because I was doing so much mining off screen that I was like, if these guys are dead by the time I come back up to the surface, I'm going to be very frustrated. So I just didn't want to deal with that. And I didn't. I walled it off. So the main area I've been spending my time, and for me, this is a lot of work. Let's go down here. And we got those glitchy shader Optifine issues. Just reload all the chunks. Alright, we're down here. So there's another portal. Haven't done anything in the nether yet. I have mined, and if I show you the map here, you can see from here all the way down here, which is... I don't know how much that is actually, but I did manage to find... I should probably just use TP to test this, just for the sake of demonstrating. So I actually will do that. I found a zombie spawner. I found one cave spider spawner. And then another cave spider spawner. Unfortunately not close enough to connect, I don't think. So, well, you know, we'll figure that one out. But that's pretty cool, I think. Go ahead and TP out of there. I think that's pretty dope. I can't wait to actually get some stuff going with those. But here is the real pride and joy I wanted to show. And this is what I'm going to be working on mostly. This episode we may not get much into the working of it because I need one more thing before I can actually get it up and running, and that's an ender pearl. And we'll get to that in a second on why I need that. But so let's come over here. So far this is just the chute, basic chute. I haven't done anything crazy with the drop off yet. Let's go ahead and climb up. It's trippy. Alright, so I went ahead and I will show you this more in depth in a test world. Don't want to fall down there, that'll literally kill me. Just had a little drop off point here. I've dealt with issues on having a one block hole for mobs. They kind of pile up. Now, if it's not a lot of mobs at one time, that's not a big issue. But if there's like 10 mobs grouped up right there, they're going to pile up. And then I thought, well, it probably takes just as much time for them to separate themselves there as it does for you to separate them yourself. So I'm kind of just leaving that the way it is. Anyway, here is the piece de resistance. Totally butchered that. This is a design I've been working on for probably 8 years now. And really, it's not possible to do without computers. And I'll show you why that is in a bit. Essentially, this is kind of an inspiration again from Monkey Farm here, as most things are in Minecraft for me. Instead of using pressure plates, I use signs because apparently mobs can't spawn on pressure plates anymore, but we've got slabs to prevent spiders from spawning. So essentially, spiders will not be able to spawn on this platform. And then the signs so that the slabs don't make the water flow weird. I've got one more slab on the dispenser now that you can waterlog blocks. So essentially this will still work as normal, but it'll have a slab on top so no mobs can spawn on this dispenser. Because the water gets kind of wonky. You know, if it's just sitting there, it's all still. And so I can actually show you how this works basically. So essentially whenever this gets a pulse, it'll spout water right there and push to the edge, and mobs will be pushed off. They'll fall into this big catch. It's going to be literally just this all the way up, and then they all fall from the very top, every single row down to this bottom catch area, which is nice. I think this is a pretty efficient mob farm, and I don't think I've really seen this type of mob farm made before. I'm sure it has been, but this is a design I've always had originally myself. This kind of using the diamond like this, and then the catch-all system down there. Again, probably used before, but I used inspiration from Monkey Farm for how to actually deal with spiders. But other than that, mostly my own design. And I'll show you why it's literally impossible otherwise. So underneath the dispenser we have a computer, and this computer right now isn't doing anything that you can see. It's actually, if I go ahead and shut it off, and we'll dig into this code a bit more in a bit, but so if I look at what it does on startup, so this is whenever you start the world, this is whenever you start your server, etc. It's all it's doing is running a program. And so if I go to that program, spawn or receive, essentially what it's doing is it's opening the modem. So it's connecting, there's a wireless modem right here, and it's connecting to the modem. It's opening it up on channel 0, and then it's creating an event where it's listening for a message. And so in this case, we're listening for only one message at the moment. I can insert more if I want and just do an if-else branch. But for now, what I'm doing is just listening for the message RS Pulse. And RS Pulse, if I get that message, will then activate another program that I've written named RS Pulse. Let's go ahead and open that up. And RS Pulse literally just turns on redstone at the top, which is this, and then sleeps a half second, and then turns the redstone off again. And that simulates, I don't know what the exact time would be, I might have to tinker with the sleep value. That essentially simulates a pulse, because dispensers work off pulses. So let's get out of there. And that's hooked up to a wireless modem, so all I have to do is have a host computer, and I'll show you how that works in a bit. I can't do it at the moment. This layer is the exact same way. And so let's say I have my host computer all the way down here. Let's drop down. And I've got it on me. Spawner host. And this is what I'm waiting for, unfortunately, to get things started, is another wireless modem. And I'm gonna just write, because I hate seeing those little the like messages. I don't know why it gives you messages now. There you go. So now they're gone. So this one, I go ahead and open spawner send. Similarly, it's going to connect to a modem, and I don't have a direction for the modem yet, so I might change that from back. But it opens it up on channel 0, and what it's going to do, and I'm going to tinker around with this to get it perfect, but essentially it waits, and if it has a redstone signal on, so if we have like a lever next to it or something, it's going to tell you, hey, the spawner's active, and it's going to essentially cycle the redstone pulse. So it's actually going to send, and I need to change this. It's going to send the message RS Pulse. If the lever is off, you can see that down here. If the lever is off and we don't have power going into this block, then it's going to say, hey, the spawner's currently not doing anything, flick the lever to run. and it's just going to loop again. So basically this is just going to endlessly loop, and it's either going to be pulsing while it loops or not pulsing. And that's informing those, hey, pulse. But we can control that. And I'm gonna tinker around with it a bit because I'm not super satisfied with how basic it is right now. But you don't want to overcomplicate this thing too much. It's not really that crazy of a code, so it's not worth. I hate those skeletons. It's not worth wasting too much time designing something insane. And let me go to sleep real quick, and then we'll hop into the test world, and I'll show you how this actually will work with mobs. Alright, here we are in my test world. This is a prototype. Another prototype, and here's kind of the final design I came up with. Totally looks trippy with the glowstone underneath. Alright, so you can see the spawner is an active lever to run. And this one should just be blank. And it is. So there's nothing going. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna spawn a bunch of sake creepers in. Alright. And we're gonna turn it on. And so when I turn it on, remember, what that's going to do is let this thing start running its clock. It's basically running its while loop. And when it's running its while loop, it's going to... Grief, this is loud. Okay, when it's running its while loop, it's going to also send out the redstone pulse program. So if I go ahead and flick it on, spawner active, lever to kill. And voila. And I'm gonna wait 10 seconds, and it clicks and it turns off. And these guys are all going there, and they are clumped up, and again, that seems like an issue, but the rate of drops really isn't bad enough for me to consider it an issue. Like, they're definitely falling in there. It just takes a little time sometimes. But you can see it's just gonna pulse, and I've got it set to a 10-second delay right now. I'm not sure what I'll actually put it to, but... And again, this wouldn't be possible, and the reason I said that is because... In vanilla Minecraft, that is. Because you have no way of wirelessly... That I know of, you have no way of wirelessly sending redstone signal. And so if I was vertically wiring this with redstone, I would have to go through the middle, and that would disrupt my dispenser, because when I vertical wire up to this dispenser, how am I gonna vertical wire up more layers? So it would also, you know, down here would be a bit of an issue. So what would I do? I guess I could go from the side, but now we're talking about, you know, blocking off an entire segment, because I have to come in that way, and then I have to wire over here and wire down, which doesn't really seem likely. Or I could just wire across, but there goes a whole, like, almost half. That almost takes out an entire half of spawning pad. So essentially that means you have to use something wireless. And again, I don't know if in vanilla Minecraft, I'm still learning things about this game. I haven't played it in so long. But let's just put down this mini. You can see it working over there too. But yeah, there's really no way, or no good way to do it. And so this is, I think, the easiest way. And if I had a longer drop, it wouldn't be as big of an issue, them clumping up right there. And eventually they all die anyway. And that's basically the premise of this entire mob farm. It's going to be at least probably 4 or 5 layers. I don't know exactly how many I'll need. I have been lighting up caves, but unfortunately they're near the mineshaft, which is probably not super helpful for being around the mob spawner. So I'll have to keep working at that, but this is the essential premises, and we're going to run with that, and I'm going to do a bit more in this episode. Again, nothing super intensive because I don't have quite everything I need just yet, but I want to show y'all kind of what my plans are for this build. What I kind of want to do, and you can kind of see it here, I've outlined just the horizontal lines here. These are the edges of what I'm going to make into a circle. A big 101 block circle, which is why I wanted to stick with the 1 block wide, like, drop. I didn't really want to deal with asymmetry when I'm doing an odd build. That would have been really unfortunate. I am so bad at building as it is. But, so there's the third one, and if we reload the chunks, here's the fourth one. And so this is, I need to build in, but essentially this is going to be a big circle. This is where the insanity part steps in, and I may have to use turtles to get this done, and I'll show a bit more what turtles can do in this series later. But I'm going to empty the entire circle of water, because we are going to live in this circle. It's going to go down to the earth, and we're going to live in this thing. And that's where the insanity comes in, because that's so much water to get rid of. I don't know if there's an easy way to do that in vanilla. I'll have to look into it. But I think the only solution is for me to code a turtle to clear out the area for us. That's not going to be easy either. But it's got to be done. And the reason is because I just want to live in the ocean. And unfortunately, there were no plains really that I could build on that I felt like were suitable. Most of it is just these kind of lilac plains, and then, or lavender plains, and then the village, and then there's this kind of hilly forest area, and then there's more hilly forest area, and there's just not a really good place to, a flat piece of land, you know, that you can just throw down a circle on that extends into the water or something. So I really want to have some underwater features, and now I'm going to have solely underwater features. It's going to be completely surrounded by the ocean, which is pretty cool. I've also gone ahead and moved the world spawn back to the original 0, 0 coordinate. And the reason I did that is I didn't realize setting the world spawn would also move the spawn chunks. I really thought the spawn chunks would just stay where they always, like, you cannot move spawn chunks. It would just change where you load into the world, but I guess that makes no sense. Obviously those two things would go hand in hand. So our spawn chunks are now at 0, 0, and that's important because we need those spawn chunks, and you will find out why later. I will be draining 2 oceans, it seems, because I'll have to drain that area as well. And so that's probably the main part of this episode today. I didn't really want to go too in depth on anything. I have a lot more work to get in before we can actually start doing some things together, because honestly, just putting this stuff in is no fun. I will provide paste bins for the code. They're not super insane, and heck, I may even do a tutorial on computers and turtles later, but for now, I'm just going to put the paste bins of those programs, and again, that's like a pulse program, and then it's wireless sending and receiving programs. So you could really do whatever you want with those. You could do some pretty cool things. Next time, what I think we're going to work on is, hopefully by then I've got the spawner working, at least to a basic degree. I really want to get into Botania because I've been looking at this thing and it's supposed to have mana in it, and it doesn't, which means I need to learn some stuff, and it looks really fun. I'm looking at all these flowers, and let me just grab the book here. You know, I'm walking around and I see, like, this thing is so cool, this pure daisy. So basically it turns things into other things. And you're thinking, well, okay, what can it do? Well, let's look up pure daisy. This is so cool. So you can make ice into packed ice. You can make soul sand into sand. It basically purifies the block. So any type of stone is going to become living rock. Any type of packed ice is going to become blue ice. I don't know what that blue ice is. Netherrack becomes cobblestone. Blaze mesh, whatever that is, becomes obsidian. Water, however you're supposed to get water in there. Oh. I see. So if I just put water around it, it'll become snow. And wooden logs become living wood. So there's a lot of really cool things we can do with that. And then there's the altar, which we can also do cool things with on the petals. and this mana pool, which we can also do cool things with. And I don't really know what any of it does because I've never played Botania before, but it seems really cool. And it's such a lightweight mod, I feel like, that I'm super excited to get into it. And so that's what we'll be looking at next episode. Thank y'all so much for watching, and have yourself a great rest of your day.